Is Wet for Xbox 360 a hidden gem? That is a good question that I seek to answer in my video today. Developed by Artificial Mind and Movement, now known as Behavior Interactive, and published by Bethesda in 2009 for the PS3 and the 360, this is certainly a more unique third-person shooter. Especially when you consider that many Xbox 360 third-person shooters adopted the cover mechanics made popular by games like Rogue Trooper and Kill Switch, or Gears of War, which was heavily inspired by Kill Switch, and most third-person shooters of the time followed suit after the success of Gears, a couple examples being Kane and Lynch or Quantum Theory. But Wet tried something different, being a more parkour, acrobatic-focused game, instead of copying the cover system, and it was overall pretty enjoyable, although not perfect. Now, this system largely saw your character, Ruby Malone, diving and sliding around areas while fighting, and acrobatic combat triggers slow motion movement, which helps you precisely aim your weapons. That said, Wet was pretty interesting in that all of Ruby's guns are dual-wielded, and you can only aim one while the other has auto-aim. Plus, you never actually have to reload your guns, although all of your firearms, except for the pistols, have limited ammo. Of the 4 usable guns, the shotguns and revolvers were probably my favorites, but you also have SMGs and crossbow pistols with exploding darts, and you can upgrade your weapons using points earned by killing baddies, and Wet has a combo system, which you can use to maximize your points per kill. And needless to say, special kills like headshots or offing baddies with exploding barrels offers more points than just basic body shots. But that is not all, folks. You can also use points to unlock new abilities and upgrades, like an HP boost, or being able to shoot while wall running, and you have a sword which is used for melee combat. I personally max upgraded said blade pretty early on, as whenever I found myself needing to use it in close quarter combat, I didn't have time for a weak sword. That said, Wet is primarily a game where you're supposed to use your guns, but the melee combat was some pretty solid hack and slash action that I felt could have been worked on to make its own game. Moving on, the story to Wet is mostly pretty good, with a twist that I did not see coming, although it did leave a couple loose ends untied. That said, I heard that a sequel was in development, but it was cancelled, so bummer there. Now, the story and just the way that Wet is does feel like this game was intended to feel like a interactable movie more than a game. It has a lot of slow-mo action, tons of quick time events, to the point where the final boss is nothing but QTEs, and an optional film tear filter, like if you were playing an old videotape. On top of this, there are commercial breaks, I guess you could say, every now and then, that make it feel like you're watching this at a drive-in theater. They'd be stuff like, go grab some refreshments, or make sure to be careful with your speaker, and this was really neat. Being honest, playing Wet made me think of something I saw recently on Steam. A dude was saying that he considers Left 4 Dead a interactive movie, and I do not get that at all, since that game is like nothing but action with almost no story. I do really see this with Wet though, what with the old film filter, the pretty in-depth story, and all the slow-mo action. Again, this title does feel more like a movie than most games that I've played, although I sadly had to turn off the film filter because it bothered my eyes, but it was still really neat. And did I mention that this title has some high-speed car chase levels, where Ruby hops from vehicle to vehicle while hunting her targets. Again, this felt like something straight from an action movie. I personally think of the car chase in the second Matrix movie, but I know quite a few films do stuff like this. Alrighty, moving on to other things, I want to cover Ruby's rage levels and the health system. In the rage levels, Ruby, well, enters a state of rage, and everything turns red and white, while Miss Malone goes berserk on a slaughtering spree, and hard rock music plays in the background. Just some good old-fashioned family-friendly fun. Now, for the health system. This works one of two ways. For one, you'll sometimes find bottles of whiskey that Ruby can take a sip from to restore her HP to max. But when that's not an option, you refill your health by killing enemies. And the higher your combo meter is, the more HP that you get per kill. Shifting to a different topic, there are collectible monkey toys hidden around the levels. I have no idea what they do, but some achievements require finding them. Also, Ruby has a practice area that you can go to, where you have time trial challenges, where you try to get from point A to B as fast as possible. There are also scorpions in Ruby's hideout, and you earn an achievement for killing all of them. Apart from this, and the main story, Wet has a points challenge mode, where the goal is to get as many points as possible in a level, with some achievements earnable in this mode. Also, this title does have some cool extras, being concept art, character bios, and being able to jam to some of the music in the soundtrack from the extras menu. Graphically, Wet overall looks pretty good, and the soundtrack is enjoyable, and the sound effects are well done. Performance-wise, I ran into the occasional minor glitch, nothing to get worked up over, and Wet mostly ran well, although I do think that the climbing and parkour was rather clunky at times. Game length-wise, I wasn't timing it, but this game isn't too long, and it took me somewhere between 8 to 10 hours to beat it on the normal difficulty. All things said, would I call Wet a hidden gem? Being honest, it's hard to call this game hidden, since it did sell over 1 million copies, despite only releasing on 2 platforms. So I can't call it hidden. Lesser known, sure, but hidden, no. And is this a gem? Mostly. It's not my favorite 360 game by a long shot, but it is an enjoyable title that I give a 8 out of 10 by my grade scale. Now, used copies of Wet can be pricey, and I've seen CIB copies sell for over $70, and I mean they actually sold for that price, not some dude just listing them on eBay. People are willing to pay big bucks for Wet. I personally found a workaround and got a German copy for $10, which is fully playable in English, and to the best of my knowledge, it is not cut or censored in any way. So, if this game looks fun, but you don't want to heavily invest in it, maybe look into finding a European copy. As far as similar games that I could recommend, gee, I'm under the impression that Stranglehold is a similar game, but I've yet to actually try that one. Maybe Tomb Raider Underworld, it's possible that you'd like that. Now, as a side note apart from my review, I've seen some people say that they hope Wet becomes backwards compatible, but with all of the licensed music in it, I would not get your hopes up. Anyways, that is my review itself for today. Not my best written script, I admit, but I hope y'all enjoyed, and thank you for tolerating my bad voice. For those new here, I mostly review and discuss Xbox 360 games, so feel free to sub if that sounds interesting. And follow me on GameRam for hints at upcoming vids and behind the scenes stuff. As for our Bible verse of the day, I read from Romans 1:7 NIV. Grace and peace to you from God our Father and from the Lord Jesus Christ. And, like always, all of my vids are organically made by me, and I do not consent for my likeness and voice to be copied and altered by robots in any way. Keep YouTube human, have a good one, God bless. Especially when you consider that a lot of Xbox 360 third-person shooters adopted the cover mechanics